Be me. Be a little kid. Was staying at my dad's place. Parents are divorced. Be playing outside. Springtime, but still relatively cold outside. Walk around the playground in front of my dad's home. See pale white kid with a greenish hue in the 13 to 14-year-old range in a dark crimson jacket with plain black shirt underneath. Kid had pointy hair that looked somewhat unnatural and spikes slightly pointing backwards. Kid had very reduced cheeks to almost no cheeks at all, and very pointy and above average sized teeth. Kid had ridiculously small eyes which were very reflective, almost like diamonds. Kid had overly pronounced eye folds, as if he was pushing his eyes shut on purpose. Kid had visible cheek/jaw muscles and jaw ligaments, similar to predatory dinosaurs. Kid had this inhuman grin on his face, very tiny ears, and stood there, as if he was talking to other people in a conversation, but no one was there. Walk past this weird kid at roughly 20 to 21 feet distance. Check this kid out after having passed him. He was now wearing a gray woolen sweater, with his jacket nowhere to be seen, with another kid having appeared out of thin air, talking as if they were there the whole time. I walked by even further, took a close look back at the kid down from the end of the block. He was, once again, wearing a crimson red jacket, but of a different design than the first one. Other guy is suddenly gone too. Look away. Look back again. Two more guys who looked roughly 19 years old and somewhat overweight have appeared in like 3 seconds max, and all three of them were significantly closer now. They were all staring and facing at me with the weird kid in the middle, still grinning. The kid was, once again, wearing a gray sweater. Run to my dad's home, seriously freaked out. Hear an inhuman scream somewhere behind me. My dad had just opened the door and heard it too. Dad claimed he saw me constantly looking behind me getting freaked out, and what he described as a sentient moving heat haze following me. B14. Have lived in a woods for the past 6 or so years. Love dirt bikes, and I ride them around the area. My family owns some land about 10 acres, but through extended family and friendly neighbors, I have access to about 200 acres of woodland. One night around 9:30 p.m., I was riding on a TW200, pig related, same bike and year. Area I have access to is fairly narrow and almost horseshoe shaped. I'm about 1.5 miles from my home, and at least half a mile from anything. I'm going down a very old driveway that used to be a logging road. The road cuts through a cane and begins to slope downhill towards a large marsh. As I'm going down the hill, the bike begins to sputter, and eventually, the engine stalls. I begin to smell what smells like a rotting deer carcass. Have heard wolves in the area, so think nothing of it. I open the tank and check the gas. Empty.jpg. Headlight is still on and is shining into the now pitch black woods. As I move my head down to turn the fuel to reserve, I see movement in the path of the headlight. Smell is absolutely putrid by this point. I didn't get the best look at the creature, but I'll try and describe it as best as I can. Appeared to be about the size of a large deer, but hairless, with bluish gray skin. Head appears pretty fucked up and completely unnatural. My stomach drops. All I'm carrying is a small hunting knife. Nope.svg. Get the bike running and nope out of there at 40+ miles per hour. Make it home in record time. Parents ask me what happened and say I look pale. Decide not to tell them, thinking they won't believe me. Instead, tell them I had a close encounter with a mountain lion. Go to sleep trying to figure out what the hell I saw. Never return to that area without my nugget. I listen to lots of scary stories on YouTube. The normies piss me off so much I don't even know why I listen to them. They hear a deer/cougar scream and tell a story about how it was a demon. They see a random dude deep in the woods and immediately think they're a murderer. They think homeless people are animals that will attack on sight, It's pretty funny how these people freak out over so much normal and boring woodland shit. Especially the females. They always try and write their stories like they are Billy Badass. But each time they are scared by shit that the average lurking anon here would either ignore or not sweat over. Scariest experience of my own is be me, alone camping in woods. Been there a few weeks. Sun is going down. I have approximately 1.5 hours, or so, not quite 2 to 3, but over an hour. See 3 guys crouching around the woods, 250 meters across the river. I naturally crouch and watch, reach for binoculars, and sit very still. They seem to be hunting deer. No firearms visible, but one does have a buck knife. I am spooked at this point, mind racing. I think about what I should do. Run, contact, stay still. I am miles into the wild at this point. Plus, my belongings are all set up in a concealed/camo camp. And I can't just leave it all here to head blindly into the woods this late. My gut is telling me that they are not friendly. I don't know why, but I just feel like if I speak with them, it will not go well at all. I decide to stay on my spot and watch. They have come to the river now, slightly closer, but there's no way they could see my camp as it was uphill in a strange spot, hidden between brush and trees. The land is shaped in such a way that you would have to be right on me to see me. It's getting dark now. They are still not using a light, and are moving slow and looking around a lot. They split into 3, and I lose sight of one, but he walked away from me whilst the other 2 crossed the river and split. One is going the opposite direction. One is heading towards me, and one is heading down the river. I slowly move behind some brush and back off another 100 meters or so. Lie down and continue watching. My stomach drops.
I found you, bitch. These are our woods.
The one that was heading closer has found my camp. This is when I confirm that they are looking for me. I don't know why or how I have done nothing to warrant this. Didn't even know that the land was owned. It was so remote. No dead animals, no trash, no wildfires, and etc. I can hear my things being thrown around now and a pretty loud conversation as they all have regrouped in my camp. Can't understand them, but they seem to be angry. Occasional screaming and such into the woods around them. Saying things like,
"We know you're here, boy. You're done."
And another that sticks in my mind is,
"I'm gonna have fun skinning you."
I lie still in terror. About 30 minutes pass, but it could have been more or less. It's hard to tell at this point. It's getting really dark now, and I see them heading back downhill, and I still hear them shouting in the distance. I lay still in the woods for another 20 to 30 minutes, and thank God I did. Not sure how much longer I would have lay there, but I wasn't eager to move since I knew that they knew where my camp was, but I didn't know where they were. A fucking flashlight turns on at my camp.
"If you're out here, you should call yourself lucky from now on. Don't ever come back here, boy."
Do.jpg. I lay and watch the flashlight go into the distance. It's pitch black now, so I give it another 20 minutes in case it was some kind of double trap. Nothing but silence. After a while, I hear gunshots a few miles away, across the river where they headed earlier. At this point, I just slowly approached my camp, gathered my gear as best as I could in speed. Much was lost forever into the woods, or possibly stolen, likely both. My tent is slashed apart, my sleeping bag sliced into bits with the insulation thrown around camp. My tarp has been pulled out of the tree and slashed up, cords cut. Gunshots again, but they are much closer this time. I grab what I can and haul ass uphill. Spend the entire night moving north through the woods until I find a service road to follow. Followed it in the tree line just in case, and was freaking out the entire night. Never went back to those woods. This took place in the southern remote US. Still don't know what they wanted, or how they found me or knew where I was. My guess is trail cams, or that they found my camp earlier and came back looking for it as a group to teach me a lesson, or worse. Walking through the woods. Grass and shit has overgrown the path. Trip on something and land face first in mud. Get up and look at what I tripped on. Uncovering it. A huge fucking bear trap. It wasn't set. Breathe a sigh of relief, still pretty scared. Proceed on further down the road. See another metal thing. Throw a stick at it. It's another trap. Slam shut. Proceed to repeat this process with 5 other shiny things. There's more than 10 of these traps at regular intervals along the trail. Give up counting. Head back home off the path to call the sheriff and rangers and to get them the fuck out here. I could have lost my feet and been stranded out in the woods. Be me, hanging out in the woods at night. Stumble on what looks like an abandoned campsite. Tents are shredded. Trash is lying around everywhere. Remember thinking that it was weird that people were camping this far into the woods. I was only a few miles in, but people cook meth and shit out here. Decide to look around the campsite some more. Spend a while trying to think of a rational explanation as to what the fuck could have shredded the tents and trashed the campsite so badly. Just as I'm about to leave, I hear something walk up behind me. Turn around. Nothing. Start walking away from the campsite. Hear the footsteps again. They were different this time. More like stomping. Turn around again. Absolutely goddamn nothing. Pick up the pace a little. If one of the meth cooks was trying to scare me, I definitely got the message. Walk about a mile. Then shit got real spoopy. Hear footsteps again, but this time whatever the hell was behind me was sprinting fast. Start running, but the thing was keeping pace with me pretty easily. At one point, it got so close, I swore I felt its fucking breath on me. Get out of the woods after what seems like hours of running. The thing stops dead in its tracks. Like, it didn't even slow down first. It just stopped. Didn't get a very good look at it, but I saw its silhouette. The thing looked skinnier than the pictures of concentration camp survivors that I had seen. And it had legs that were longer than the rest of its body. Shine my flashlight on it, which I really wish I wouldn't have. The thing didn't have a mouth. Just a mouth painted on with what I assumed was blood. Same thing with the eyes. Run into my house. Lock that bitch up tight. Sleep in my bathtub with my shotgun at my side all night. I went back to that campsite the next day and nothing was there. Not nothing as in the campsite had been cleaned up. Nothing as in it looked like nothing had ever been there to begin with. Fuck this state.